Hoi pirim, 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 jeder hat dem Lieb, gab Sonne und Gewirin, sie ist afraid und stief, me hab da Nascha, men Tasche Neues will sich noch, wie nennt man dort den Pirim, kurz 20 Mal a Woch. Misrach meir auf Zoffen, dorem naja Amen, schaffen 10, Gott wird helfen, es wird bei jedem gerecht, der Purim sein. Pirim, 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 jeder hat dem Lieb, gab Sonne und Gewirin, sie ist afraid und stief, me hab da Nascha, men Tasche Neues will sich noch, wie nennt man dort den Pirim, kurz 20 Mal a Woch. Oi, Pirim, 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 jeder hat dem Lieb, gab Sonne und Gewirin, sie ist afraid und stief, me hab da Nascha, men Tasche Neues will sich noch, wie nennt man dort den Pirim, kurz 20 Mal a Woch. Pirim, 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 the southern way to say Purim. Learned this song from a wonderful mentor of mine who is no longer with us, Arkady Gendler, who sung it and shared it with a lot of the world. And if you don't know who he is, you should definitely check him out. A wonderful older man from all the way far in Bessarabia, Ukraine, but recorded his first album in California, in San Francisco. But also, let's say that program a little collection of songs that we just like and love, and we're at home in our very shiny home, and and it's Valentine's Day. What?
So we'll put a bit of love in there, you know, but it's a nice Hamish affair.
A Hamish affair.
Yeah.
Do we still have Craig and Sasha? Craig and Sasha are reconnecting. We're just having a little bit of an issue here. Mark, are you sharing your screen by any chance?
I'm not sharing my screen.
That was odd.
I think you may need to just turn screen sharing off.
All right, I believe we've solved the technical issue. All right.
Yay!
There we go.
There we go. We're back. Hello.
Oh, sorry about that. Berlin internet on Sunday can be a bit tricky.
There's too much love in the air. Everybody's on their Valentine's Day Zooms. I guess the whole city is overloading the bandwidth everywhere.
But here we go. I think we should be okay now.
I don't know where in our little bantering we lost you, but what we're gonna say is that we are in the middle of a Valentine's Day, so we wanted to play you a little love song. And it's an old song, and one of the main reasons I love this one is that this is like, unlike a lot of other folk songs, this is a song where the woman is taking back her power, and she says, I'm sick and tired of everything, so let's just get married. I know my parents want dowry, but I love you, and you're the one who I'm gonna take, in spite of all the enemies, in spite of what parents say. I want to be just with you. So it's a nice
We've officially
sentiment.
entered the Valentine's Day portion of the set.
Ich hab schon nicht kein Kojach, bei der Arbeit einzusitzen. Nur vor der Mamen sag ich das nicht heus, sag nicht heus. Und vor dem Taten sag ich das nicht heus, auch nicht heus. Du hab auf mir Rachmanes und wer für mir a Chussen. Und von der Arbeit nimmst du mir a Reus, oi a Reus. Hab auf mir Rachmanes und wer für mir a Chussen. Und von der Arbeit nimmst du mir a Reus, oi a Reus. Tate will naden und Mame will naden. Und von dem Naden will sie werden reich, oi reich. Von dem Naden will sie werden reich, oi reich. Oi Gott soll sie nur schenken, dem Naden zu verkränken. Mit aller Kapzonen soll sie werden gleich, oi gleich. Gott soll sie nur schenken, dem Naden zu verkränken. Mit alle Kapzonen sollen sie werden gleich, oi gleich. Dich hab ich lieb und dich will ich nehmen. Ich will dich nehmen ohne Groschen Geld, oi Geld. Ich will dich nehmen ohne Groschen Geld, oi Geld. Dem Taten auf Zeloches, die Sonne im Abkadoches. Mit dir will ich ausleben, meine Welt, meine Welt. Dem Taten auf Zeloches, die Sonne im Abkadoches. Mit dir will ich ausleben, meine Welt, meine Welt. What the zoy? What
A
the
little
zoy?
Scotchna from the Barakovsky collection,
Ah.
which we love dearly.
Right, no, I need this.
We'll
Where-
continue now with the love theme.
This is a wonderful poem by Moshe Leib Halpern, who, if you don't know, was really a truly fantastic Yiddish poet.
Is that better?
What's going on?
Oh, I think we were mirrored backwards, but maybe now
Oh,
that looks right now.
interesting.
Sorry, so many settings here. You never know what you're gonna get.
So yeah, now not mirrored.
Okay, can't hear guitar. We'll turn up the guitar a bit.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Aw, Carolyn can hear me. Anyhow, so Moshe Leib Halpern, if you don't know about him, check him out. Definitely a fantastic poet. That his poems have been set to music somewhat, but not, to my knowledge, enough. And this song is written by another great Yiddish songwriter, Ben Newman. The composer for this song is Ben Newman, and he really, this is kind of a little bit out of his normal style. This, you'll see. Yeah. Who can comprehend the beauty of the sea and see the shine in your eyes and not have their heart explode from joy and not have their heart be torn from sorrow? You are my unrest, mein Umru. And why do I long for you? Tell me. Not a day goes by that I think of you and I dream of you, you, my life, my heart, my unrest, mein Umru. And I'm out of whack.
All right.
Wer kennt die Schönheit von einem verstehen? Wer kennt die Schein von deinen Augen sehen? Und nicht zerrissen werden soll sein Herz von Frei. Und nicht zerrissen werden soll sein Herz von allein. Du, Umru meine du, Umru meine du. Für was ich bin, azoi noch dir, so, es geht doch nie, a weg, a Nacht, a Tag, und nur ich tracht von dir, und nur ich träum von dir.
That's the song.
I love this song.
All right.
Just
Everybody
have to
doing okay
do
there?
One thing.
Feeling sweet? Nice and
Sorry, guys. 1 second. We are gonna do this. Are we still with you? Yes, very good. No?
Nope.
Oh. This should work.
There we go, great. Oh yeah, now we're co-host, we can unmute ourselves. Thanks. Sorry about that, guys. We had a phone malfunction. You know how it is. Usually we get to blame all these things on the tech people, but now we are the tech people.
Oh God, yeah, it's so much fun to be our own tech people.
Yeah, we're learning a lot. Yeah, just do.
I'm gonna sing an unaccompanied song for you because this is the way all traditional songs used to be performed. And this is a song that I've been thinking about a lot because it connects a lot of Jewish tradition in one thing. It's about Jonah the prophet, and it tells the story of Jonah and the whale and all this stuff. You know the story, I don't need to tell you. But the singer tells this story not in order to educate anybody. She talks to God and she says, so you did this. You know, Jews have a very close relationship with God. So she says, you did this. You are the only one who can do things like this, miracles like this. So you should tell me how I should feed my husband so that he gets healthy and gets over his illness. Right? If you can save Jonah, save my husband. So Yonah Hanovi, Jonah the prophet.
That said, we can't always rely on God, so please, people, do wear your mask, get vaccinated, you know.
And feed each other, I guess.
Yeah, lots of chocolate. All right.
Yonah Hanovi is fine Gott antelaufen. Wollt nicht gewollt kein schliches gehen. Auf dem Schiff hat es ihm getroffen, wenn die Schiff hat ungeheuben hintergehen. Gewalt warft man geurlois, wenn man me soll in Jammer einwerfen, Goyerul azoi, Yonah Hanovi minastam. Inter drei misles hat Gott beschert anes. A Fisch hat ihm ausgespinnt zirig. Haben die Jiden gesehen, wie es ist geschehen. Nisim fin Gott allein. Azoi sollst du mir wasen, wie mein Mann sich spasen, ob sie hitten sehen von am Teut. Und du's kennt nicht keiner, nur die Gott einer, rate wenn Yonah von am Teut. Dus kennt nicht keiner, nur Gott die einer. Ob sie raten, wenn Yonah von am Teut. What does it?
That's the way. Well, I think now that we've got some songs, some love songs, some a cappella songs, some mandolin, some sort of
Yeah, also I
Americana
think,
Yiddish
isn't that like
folk.
food is also a form of love?
It's true. We're going to play you some fiddle tunes. No concert is complete without a fiddle tune. Isn't that what Duke Ellington said? And after this, we'll do a little workshop. We'll talk about a song that's also a tune and some of the way that those things all kind of mixed up and the various contexts of Yiddish music and their commingling. But this is sort of in that spirit a little bit. We're going to play you a few fiddle tunes coming from first Ukraine, then recorded in America, but really from Romania, Moldova area, and then we'll go up towards Belarus to end with a somewhat familiar melody. Oh yeah, turn that mic down. Yeah, I think that's mostly what I was gonna say. But yeah, so anyways, a bit of a travelogue via the fiddle. And the first one is also, it's a great melody that's sung by the Bobover Chassidim. There's a great CD of songs of rejoicing of the Chassidim that has it on there. But then we found it in the Baragovsky collection, which hopefully you'll hear me talk about it enough times that you'll go out and get yourself a copy at musiker.org and find this great music collected in Ukraine by all sorts of fiddlers in the 1930s and 40s and earlier. And also clarinetists and singers. All right, here we go anyways. Sound all right? Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Dank.
Woohoo! Why don't you take this now?
Oh, fine.
Everybody gets to play with the drum. Because, whatever you do, it's kind of a lot of fun to play the drum. Okay. And, all right. Hello. One of the Purim traditions that we don't perform quite as much these days, and especially these days, is kind of like Purim trick-or-treating. Like kids and artists would go around doing these little Purim spielen in different houses and, ask for money. Because that's what musicians like to do. They like to be paid for what they do. Which is a good moment for us to thank UCLA and Milken Archive for having us and giving us a chance to be with people, share our music with people, and in these times when we are quite stuck far from you. It's been almost a year now since we were all the way out there, and we do miss you all. It was a lot of fun being there, and we hope to come see you soon. And maybe we'll come singing about Purim because, why not? And this is a great verse song where today is Purim, tomorrow doesn't matter. It's pretty much gone. So give us some money and throw us out. And in each verse, we're going to learn something about, I'm probably going to take this, learn something about all the different characters in the Book of Esther.
Yeah, give us Esther. Hear it yourself. Too loud? No.
Just, yeah, hat a guten Purim, but don't overdo on it. It's a dangerous holiday. Heint ist Purim, morgen ist Eis, geht uns a Groschen und warft uns a Reus. A gut Purim jeden Mazel tov a Simche an Nechome, wir haben heim dem Homen und lebt an Nechome. Wir haben heim dem Homen und lebt an Nechome. Gekritzt verchappet mit die Zehn hat sehr Stimmachschas. A Sofje hat a Bittern gehabt, sich vergaß. A Sofje hat a Bittern geklappt, sich vergaß. Und Esther hat in Perlgold in Palaz ist gesessen. Fladenfisch und Roschenkes und mit Nis gegessen. Fladenfisch und Roschenkes und mit Nis gegessen. Mordke, Tatenio is a general geworden. Ina Chashveresh Mundir is a reitendig geworden. Ina Chashveresh Mundir is a reitendig geworden. Aida, 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 Apikors im seinen See, haben sie gehabt die Makes. Apikors im seinen See, haben sie gehabt die Makes. Nur genug gewinnt, genug gekriegt, hat man mit dicke Fiedel. Ich nehm und tanzen mit der Poik und Singapur im Lied. Ich nehm und tanzen mit der Poik und Singapur im Lied. Shoshanes Janke Fiedel lacht, dann singt und macht a Käse. Und Dacke noch eine und andere aber Gräse. Und Dacke noch eine und andere aber Gräse. Eider, eider, song. Good Purim! Yeah, we're just going around all the different holidays that are happening these days, you know, how everything feels like a little bit, all the holidays are at the same time.
It's like Groundhog's Day, Halloween, and Thanksgiving all at once.
Yeah, that's pretty much Purim, no? That's
Every day in lockdown.
every day.
Well, we have one more song before we get into the workshop portion of the evening or morning or whatever it is over there. Here, I think it's 8:30, 8:50. Yeah, we're getting late.
Getting late.
Which is a beautiful song. It's not really the oldest song we're doing, but it's probably just as much a folk song as any of the others.
Well, by now it probably is. This song is written by a modern Yiddish songwriter, one of the greatest Yiddish songwriters today, Josh Wolatsky, who is a great Yiddishist and has done a lot of other stuff as well. He's an Academy Award nominated documentary film director and lots of other things. But he was also a music educator at Camp Boybrick in the Catskills. And there he wrote a melody for set this poem by Lesin to music. And as far as we know, this is one of his first Yiddish songs. So, you know, out of Josh Wolatsky's songs, this is an old song. He wrote it when he was like 17 or something. And this is a wonderful poem that I hope you all are gonna take in your mind and are gonna take with you humming this wonderful tune. The poem is about Baal Shem Tov, the legendary founder of Hasidism, but as a young person. As a young person, he was a behelferel,
Helper.
teacher's assistant, basically, which meant that his job would be to go around town and gather all the kids, and he would walk around town with a song and gather all the kids.
And carry them through the snow when they were too short to make their own way through.
Yeah, so like...
And we have some folks in Seattle who are enjoying a rare snowstorm.
Yeah, or in Berlin.
Or in Berlin, we got a bit here.
We got quite a bit of snow here as well.
There's a bit of family in South Africa on here too. I don't know if they have any snow down there. Probably not. Sure.
Well, hopefully there is no snow in LA.
Yeah.
That would be quite
Exciting.
But also, here is the song by Helferl. They go through. He gathers all these children, and they go from yard to yard singing this song, and the greatness of the Eberster resounds in these words, and the whole forest sings with him. All the roach and frog and flies and flowers and moss and grass and bears and hares, everybody sings this song. Geht sich aber Helferl und geht, singt für sich an in stiller Heid. Leidselig geht sich häuf zu häuf, kleibt die kleine Kinderlich zu neuf. Kleibt die kleine Kinderlich zu neuf. Waldelois und Waldelois in a Spiegel von grünem Schein, in a Spiegel von grünem Schein. Ay, dai, yada, dai, 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 ay, dai, yada, dai, 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 ay, dai, yada, dai, 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 ay, dai, dai, yada, dai, 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 ay, dai, dai, ay, dai, yada, dai, 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 ay, dai, yada, dai, 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 ay, dai. Yada dai dai dai, ay dai dai, yada dai 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 dai. Singt mit uns der ganze Wald und der große Perchschire Schal. Juk und Schabe, grüne Fegelach, prima lacht mit schwarze Eglach, alter Moch und junge Gräslach, bräuner Bär und rose Häslach. Geh die Schiere im Himmeln hoch, Amen, ja heische Meira bo, Amen, ja heische Meira bo. Ay, dai, yada, dai, 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 ay, dai, yada, dai, 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 ay, dai, yada, dai, 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 ay, dai, dai, yada, dai, 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 ay, dai, dai, ay, dai, yada, dai, 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 ay, dai, yada, dai, 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 ay, dai, yada, dai, dai, dai. Ay, dai, dai, yada, dai, dai, dai. Ay, 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 dai, dai, yada, dai, 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 dai. Ay, dai, dai. Ay, dai, yada, dai, dai, dai. Ay, dai, yada, dai, dai, dai. Ay, dai, yada, dai, dai, dai. Ay, dai, dai, yada, dai, dai, dai. Ay, dai, dai, yada, dai, dai, dai. Ay, dai, dai, yada, dai, 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 dai.
Schönen Dank, everybody. Thanks so much.
Ode zoi.
Um,
Schönem Dank.
That was amazing.
Thanks,
right.
Lauren.
If I'm gonna go ahead and jump in now for a brief moment. So we're gonna give our artists a chance to breathe and take a breath and relax for a second. They've just given us so much amazing music to welcome in the new week, to enjoy our Sunday with, and I feel so awake and happy now having listened to all of that. So thank you. And I will also take this opportunity to tell you all just a little bit about some of the programming that we have coming up from the Lowell Milken Center for Music of American Jewish Experience. Let me make sure I get this in the right view so everyone can see it okay. So coming up just in 2 days is the next installment of our Jewish Music Masterclass program, this time featuring the incomparable Daniel Kahn, another fantastic Yiddish singer. Daniel is a very unique musician. He really has so much wonderful experience, not just creating new Yiddish music, but also translating old music and finding ways to build bridges between the past and the present, not unlike our artists today. That will be taking place at 9 a.m. on Tuesday and will be rebroadcast at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for those of you who cannot make the actual broadcast. I will say that the Jewish Music Masterclass program is an opportunity to interact directly with the artists, get a chance to ask questions, and really explore the interaction between one's musical career and their Jewish identity. On February 21st at 11 a.m., we will have a book talk, a book talk. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of an issue here on my computer. One more time. Okay, hopefully you can all properly see the slide. We have a book talk with Ruthie Abelievich, and the new book is Possessed Voices, Oral Remains from Modernist Hebrew Theater. And if you want more information on either of these programs, I encourage you to take a look at schoolofmusic.ucla.edu/Lowell Milken MAJE. That's Music American Jewish Experience. And if that's confusing to remember, as I said, you can always just Google UCLA Jewish music and you will be certain to find this among our many other programs that we have coming up in the future, as well as other programs that we offer, such as our curriculum program, Stories of Music. So with that, I will give Craig and Sasha a few more minutes just to take a quick break, but please don't go anywhere because the second half of our program, the workshop, is really an opportunity to build your own musical abilities, learn more about what it means to be a Yiddish singer, or for that matter, a fiddle player and what goes into it. I know that we're going into some very fun music. I have the inside track. So please stick around and we will be back in just a few minutes.
There once was a love between rooster and fox. Oh, rooster, do you love me too? And fine was the evening, but when morning came, morning came, morning came, all o'er the bushes his feathers were strewn. Es lebt eine Gräfin in schwedischem Land. Sie war ja so schön und so bleich.
Herr Förster, mein Strumpfband ist...
Hi, everybody. I hope you've all had a I hope you've all had a chance to stretch, take a breath, had a quick drink of water and get ready to sing and play and learn about Yiddish music. Before we do, I did want to make a quick mention that this program, while we are the presenters of this program, it also would not be possible without additional support from the Mickey Katz Endowed Chair of Jewish Music, as well as the David Victor Foundation. I do believe Fran Feynman is somewhere in the audience who has been supporting our klezmer and Yiddish programming for a few years now, and we've had just it's been such an incredible opportunity to bring Yiddish and klezmer programming to the community through these funds. So for that, we really do thank you. And with that, I will hand over the reins to Craig and Sasha. Oh, and we did have a request to know if the last few songs, if you could just tell us what you were singing.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. That's not a problem. I love talking. So, asking me questions is, yeah, as I mentioned, the last song was by Josh Walatsky, poem by A. Lesin, and the song was called Bahelfero, teacher's assistant, that means in Yiddish. Um, and the song before that was Good Purim Yidden. Um, and it's really verses. It's kind of this trick or treating Purim song. And in each verse, it talks about a different character in the book of Esther. And um, it's kind of very cute because, like, Mordechai, the Mordechai becomes a general and rides around in a fancy uniform, and Esther sits in a palace and eats all the tasty special things. Flodden, which is actually a Eastern European Jewish pastry, fish, rozinkes, fish and raisins, and poppy seeds and nuts. It's a really not very healthy diet that she's having there in the palace. And, yeah, it goes through all the different characters, and it says, enough my sad fiddle was whining. I just get up and I dance with a drum and I sing a Purim song. And it's also suggests that everybody drinks one more and then another one and then another one because it's Purim. So that's those were.
Yeah, that's what we did. We'll try and leave some time at the end to have a bit of question and answer with y'all if you feel like sticking around for that. But
Yeah,
I think we're gonna push into the official workshop
yeah,
portion.
so maybe if you want, just like take a little note of what you meant to ask, like, because it's gonna be a long hour.
And if
that
I may, this is all on YouTube as well. So if anyone wants to go back and check it out, feel free. It's there forever.
Yeah.
Right.
And you can feel free to shoot us a message if you have questions about things. And our band that we have, which usually features an accordionist of one
sorts.
sort of another, is called Lebedik. I'll write that in the chat. So you can find some things there. We're still working on some recordings as well as recordings of the project we did at UCLA just about exactly a year ago. I think last March 1st or so it was.
March 1st was our concert at UCLA, yeah.
But so we wanted to talk a little bit today. You know, it's just an hour, so we're not going to go too deep into anything. But we thought, I think often we sort of have this general idea of Yiddish music, of klezmer, that it's sort of just like one big blob of a thing. And there's songs and there's dance tunes and there's maybe some non-dance instrumental tunes. But we thought we'd try to sort of just explore a bit where all those things intersect and what we can learn from the other genres as instrumentalists of the singers and singers the instrumentalists. So we picked a tune that we really love.
We do.
I've known it for a while, and it's sort of older, what I call a more folkloric form, although we've had a big debate about whether it was ever actually a folk song or, probably not exactly, but became a folk song, or it depends how you think about it.
Well, but you knew it in the old form as a tune, though.
Yeah, it was collected in Belarus by Sofia Magid, a wonderful collector who's I think not celebrated enough, who worked in the 30s and 40s collecting in Belarus mostly from singers and instrumentalists. And that's also some of our only recordings of old string bands. So you have a couple recordings there with like three fiddles playing together, which you just don't really hear at all otherwise, even on commercial recordings. Um, so I, with my band Litvakis, we used to play this one quite a bit. And then there's lyrics to it also, which I sort of found out about later, I guess. But then also I realized, oh, there's two versions of it in Moshe Beregovsky's collection from Ukraine. And then later I found, oh, there's another recording from a Romanian Lautar, I believe, fiddler who went and studied and sort of collected all sorts of music happening in Romania and collected a lot of Jewish tunes when there were no longer Jewish musicians there. I think if Sandra Lehman's there, she might know if Konstantin Lupa was really Lautar. Actually, I think he's not. He's actually Romanian. But anyway, so we're going to play you, I think, a few versions of this song, and then we'll teach you one, which is probably our current favorite, which comes from the playing and singing of Moshe Oisher, who hopefully you all know and love.
The magical person, the magical voice and magical everything. We love Moshe Oisher.
Yeah, and he calls it Kishinever Shtikele. And he recorded it, I didn't write this down, but I think in 1923, 17, somewhere around there. And he says that he adapted it from a folk song, and he names Mein Teure Kishinev as the source. But so let's listen to a little bit of Moshe Oisher, and we'll then later learn a bit of singing that, and we'll play a couple of these versions. But I'm just going to play a snippet of this, and we'll listen to more of it in a second. So here's Moshe Oisher, Das Kishinever Shtikele.
Spielt mir kein Murmler, Käschen überstickere, aber mit dem Knack. Hingerik in Schleiferik in Akit und Burbes, im Käschen in ein Stück im Piatak. Se mir gehört die ganze Welt, nicht der ganze Welt gehört, das ist doch schon festgestellt, Fakt. Und Tomer wird mit mir nicht leben, Tomer wird noch fragen, wer kann ich ihm beweisen, ein Kontrakt. Zures in Grisotte hat mich Sneifisch in Geschieren, aber seht ihr alle auf dem Park. Aber ich darf ich will ich nicht verlieren, wird man mich nicht riefen, Kind zu Tag.
All right, so that's Moshe Oisher there. Pretty incredible performance, I think, right? And you can hear this is a theatrical rendition. Like it starts out with the fiddle pretending to tune. That's just the open strings of the fiddle, like, and then and we're in it. His incredible singing, where there's so much I think we could all learn from just studying one of his songs for years.
One bar of his,
yeah,
like,
and he really
study one phrase for a really
his
long
phrasing. He's really pushing and pulling the tempo. His ornaments that sneak in there and just express the melody so well. And then sometimes he's a little bit more straight with the words, a little more speaking. It's really incredible, I think. But so let's listen really quickly to a little bit of the song that he says this was a folk song that he adapted. Folk song, like the word folk, I think to us has so many meanings, and really, the idea of folk songs and folk culture didn't exist until a few hundred years ago. Nationality, everything was just very different. But so anyways, here's Mein Teure Kishinev.
Käschen noch mein Teure Sitte Eien. Oi, wie fängt sich das euch? Der Lotta Bier dort, das im Mann you and say I will definitiv och säg Wenn es gibt da rund die Nazis ich mir trag wie alle die Welt du allein Jag rimmar era ich vet allein nicht was du siehst I will thank thee heim
etc., etc. Again, really beautiful, really expressive singing. A much, a significantly slower tempo, I think, in the singing part. Still a theatrical-ish setting. That's the Abe Schwartz orchestra playing with Abraham Moskowitz, right? But a little bit more old school sounding, and then that B part that's just so beautiful, right? With that really special little turn. But this melody, the A part is very similar. It's almost, it's pretty much our tune, right? And then I thought I would share with you. So those are two theatrical renditions. And
Okay.
what? Yes. We'll talk a little bit more about the different levels of this song and where it lived. But there's also some great Hasidic versions of it. And part of the reason that we sort of feel this was probably a dance tune first that became a singing song with words is there are so many versions that are so different, and even in the ones that are more or less the same, the lyrics have a fair amount of variance.
Huge variations, like coming from, like it feels like they're, it's like, especially like if we go from like these Keshenev songs to this Hasidic song, which is the Keshenev songs were all about like play me a tune about Keshenev, play that old tune, and various variations. This one is really very much like about relationship with God, you. It's called doodle, right? Like you, do, you, and you are everywhere, and it just lists all the places.
So I'll try to jump to the end of this video, and I'll post a link to it. Well, I think the video is in the materials file, and I'll try to post it to the chat too. But this is Cantor Yaakov Rosenfeld, and he is singing that what seems like a Farbrengen with some Chassidim, but they have their keyboard player there. And I think it's really special. I'll jump to the middle just so we save some time. But our tune comes towards the end. So this is a doodle, as Sasha said. Here we go. Sorry.
What is it?
2 minutes to go.
4
minutes to go. 6 minutes.
You get the picture. So obviously gorgeous singing yet again. Doing some really cantorial stuff, but this is very much also like a Chassidish, just like you can sing it with your friends. You don't.
And
have to
yes, that's right. Jakob Rosenfeld is the right. That's Cantor Jakob Rosenfeld, and most likely his choir and other people that know how to do this.
Right. You also hear there them doing this the Meshorim role, basically, where you have the cantor, and he would have often a couple assistants. And you have one doing the bass or the contrabass, and then maybe a high voice that they call the flute, like the flute voice or the fiddle voice. And I was just reading this description of it, where like somebody's calling them like, they're really like singing like bassoons, doing this do like kind of articulation, and the high person was would do like the flute or fiddle and like actually play these kind of little fills and things. So generally, we think of Jewish singing, Chassidish singing, as being traditionally more monophonic or heterophonic, but sometimes we do get these sort of
harmonic
things. But that's a little bit away from what we're here for.
That's a side note, yeah.
That's a side note, yeah. So okay, let's quickly listen to a couple instrumental things before we run out of time, and we'll get to playing. So here is the Sophia Magid version that I learned from that we'll try to play a bit later. Just an instrumental dance tune called Freilich von der Chuppah. So from the wedding canopy, the chuppah. Perhaps that's why this became a tune that was sort of, most of the folkier lyrics or whatever, the general popular versions are talking about a wedding, which is a thing that we don't have. Like we have these certain Yiddish songs that are songs about weddings. They're not really wedding songs.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's a really big can of worms. I'm just trying not to get into discussing details about how these are still not folk songs, but
sure.
It's like a complicated.
Anyways, here we go. So there we go. Are pretty much the exact same melody almost as in the Moshe Oisher version, but in a sort of pumping dance version, really straight. That's also a great example of Litvak Belarusian fiddle playing style. You hear the sakun playing a little bit and the accompaniment really straight, and the melody a little bit less ornamented than some of the stuff we'll hear now from Romania. And it's just driving good time dance music. So okay, we're going to keep going. So here is Konstantin Lupu playing this tune. I'm not sure exactly where he got it, but he collected a lot of things from various fiddlers. And this is a CD called Festive Music of the Jews from the Botoshan region, Jews of Botoshan. And it's a really great collection of these tunes. So these are not Jews playing what they remember as the Jewish tunes, because in that region, there was a much more intermixing of playing between Jews and Lautar musicians, and a whole sort of special Southern style. So here we go. It's called Dance Music Hora. So we've heard this called a Freilich von der Chuppah. We've had a few song versions, and now it's called Hora, which really just means dance. It doesn't mean like the Jewish Hora or the Israeli Hora. I could listen to that all day, but we won't. So, and you probably noticed that, that B part that he uses is totally different, right? That's just something else. I mean, I don't know. We could study it for a while and maybe find a link to one of the other songs. But it's a great tune, and yeah, the cymbal accompaniment is amazing. Also, I recommend taking this recording and slowing it down to, I don't know, 60%, and it becomes a really nice reggae track. But that's neither here nor there, or maybe it's there. So okay, just keep going from that Romanian horror. Let's listen to Art Schreier's modern Jewish orchestra, which was a New York band playing what they call a Freilicher Bulgar. So now our tune has been called a Freilich from the Chuppah, a Hora, and it's been a couple of different kinds of Hasidish and more theatrical songs, and now it's a Bulgar in New York. I believe in the 30s, 40s, 30s probably. Let's see. Check out that banjo So now we have it here with a bit of a Bulgar rhythm and called a Bulgar. Although we've been talking about is that really a Bulgar? Like in the Moishe Oyster version, it really feels like a Bulgar sort of. I mean, the slow part doesn't.
Yeah.
Right, but the in between they make it feel Bulgarish. Here it's like you could do it, and I think at that time in New York they were mostly just dancing Bulgars. Like they called playing klezmer playing the Bulgars.
It's a good walking Bulgar,
Yeah.
like you kind of like.
But the tune itself, this didn't originate as a Bulgar.
It doesn't feel like what we think of a modern American.
Right.
Full. It doesn't
There's
feel
not
like
much
a full
triplets, there's not
Dave
syncopations.
Terrace.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say.
Right. So that brings us to Mr. Dave Terrace, who actually also recorded this song.
How do you like my transition?
Great. And he just calls it Kishinev. So I think for him and the arrangement he's doing, it really seems like he's doing an instrumental version of the Moishe Oyster version, basically.
Or that they are somehow related, at least.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's got to be what it is. And I believe this might have even been recorded in in 1978 by the Center for Traditional Music and Dance. Okay, it's on his music for the traditional Jewish wedding. It's something like that. I have some strange notes here about it. But he plays it.
You're just confusing. He did a concert at
Right, they did a concert. Well, it's also what it's called, I think.
Yeah.
But anyways, and we'll listen to a little bit of. He plays it first as a Terkisher and then as a Bulgar, I believe. So here's Dave Terrace. would love to listen to all, but we're really running out of time. But yeah, that's a really interesting recording, right? It's like the first part, it's got its own sort of thing, and the second part, it's like it's the drummer's playing a bulgar, the accordionist is doing some really weird sort of stuff, but it's still kind of Turkish, kind of something else. But so okay, so anyways, at this point now we've heard this. Yeah, he was very old, and he's still playing incredibly, I think. But now the same tune has been played as a Turkischer, a Bulgar, a Freilich von der Gruppe, a Romanian or whatever, a Hora, and we've heard a religious song and a non-religious
And we
song.
heard them recorded as traditional field recordings from Europe, but all the commercial recordings we had were from America so far, right?
Right.
We have one commercial recording made in former Soviet Union by one of the greatest early Yiddish actors and singers, Sidi Tal, who, for any Soviet Yiddish household was a household name. Everybody knew her. And you can see that this is, again, more of a version of this, what Craig calls more traditional tune, like towards that melodic structure. So it doesn't have all the flair that you find in Moshe Oisher. And it's about a wedding. It's like a mother's feelings at the wedding. She talks about how this is the most joyful day in her life, and also, of course, what a pain you're leaving me, and all of that.
And the
typical
lyrics
mother.
to this one, Sasha transcribed and put in that materials folder. So if
Yes,
you want to, you can
you
follow
can
along on the lyrics little thing.
Alle unsere a minute. Lange Zeit in Stub gescheint. Oh, sie Cholile. Fine.
All right, you get the picture.
Yeah, you can see how she's like doing this whole like actress reading almost of it, but it has all the parts from the old fiddle tune collected by Sophia Magid.
Right. And this tune, you can find these lyrics in Ginsberg and Marek's collection. Yeah, or a version, something related? No. Okay.
No, that was my point, that you can't.
Okay. You can't find it in 1902
One.
But later it's definitely all around. So it's hard to say exactly how far back those sort of lyrics go to it. And did the Hasidic version come first?
This is a theatrical.
Who really knows? But anyways, we wanted to give you a bit of a picture of all that, partially just to understand and frame, like, even just with one melody, there's so many different contexts that Yiddish music can happen in, right? And it wasn't all in the theater, it wasn't all sort of on the back porch, it wasn't all at a wedding. There's a lot of different things, and I think often when we talk about how do we approach it as musicians, we think like, how are you supposed to play that one? Like, oh, what ornament am I supposed to do, or what bowing am I supposed to use, or something? And it's like, well, what time period are you sort of, thinking about, or like what's your inspiration? What context is this in? And of course, now you're playing it for yourself, so you can kind of choose. Um, but I think as far as us performers, it's like we feel strongly that like we should try to find as many of these versions as we can. And sometimes like when we play it, we often do basically our version of Moishe Oisher. But then at other times I'll play it and it's more of a Litvak Belarusian thing or something else.
It really depends on what your goal is when you're playing it, right? Like what your performance goal, and then like like if you're talking about singing, then we can talk about like which text talks to you more. Is it the one about wedding? Is it the one about being poor and still dancing, or is it about God? Like you can
Right.
keep adjusting these things.
And sometimes we mix them
or
up.
maybe you want to write your own. That's obviously all these people did, so why don't you? Right.
Right. And there's basically, there's a few different versions of the whole thing, but there's two main strains of the melody. And actually, both of them are in Bergovsky for all you Bergovsky nerds out there.
Yeah, I saw, I think Francis already mentioned.
Yeah, in the 2015 edition, it's number 90 and number 180, I believe, actually. I put a copy of those into the materials folder, and you see that it shows the two main variants, which is dun dun da yum bum ba or dun dun da ya na na ya na na. So that's like, to me, like the kind of the two main things, like which synagogue do you go to?
which synagogue do you go to? I like that.
But shall we try and sing this all together a little bit? I mean, we won't hear you, so no need to be afraid if you're not.
Yeah. So maybe Craig, you should share the lyrics on the screen. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna look at this file with the words. Let's do the words because it has translation right next to it. And I'm not gonna translate it because this sheet has translation in it, and you can read as we're going to be reading lyrics. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. As we're going to be reading the lyrics, but if you have some sort of question, just put it in the chat about the words right away. Please put it in the chat. I transcribed this right here in the same dialect as Moishe Oisher performs it. It's in somewhat southern style dialect, but really it's what we call Theaterluschen, the theater dialect, and a lot of Second Avenue, Lower East Side, Yiddish theater was all in this dialect because it goes back to its relationship with the Polish theater, Polish Yiddish theater. I'm just doing very quick general information. If you scroll down later this file, you'll see that I wrote it out in Yiddish for those of you who read Yiddish, and then you can easier move it to whatever dialect you like to perform or sing in. But I'm going to stay in Moishe Oisher's dialect here, if I possibly can. I'll have to follow. So...
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at this also. So what we're going to do, I'm going to say the line and you just repeat this after me. And we're going to use Craig as our guinea pig and in learning the words, and you repeat when he repeats. Okay.
Sorry, hear you one more time. A little bit of a noise.
Okay, great.
Yeah, just move that back.
Yeah, great. Okay. Spielt je mir klezmurimlich.
Spielt je mir klezmurimlich.
Skeshenever stikale.
Skeshenever stikale.
I said stikale.
Stikale.
Yeah, so I reduce it to a. Ober mit a kniak.
Ober mitten kniak.
Mitten is an important word because it has only one vowel, but it has two syllables. Yiddish has wonderful full syllables without any vowel. So, is a full syllable without a vowel, which gives us that beautiful phrasing that we get in the language. Aber mitten knack.
Aber mitten knack.
Hingerig und in schläferig, in nacket, in burves.
Hingrig in schläferig in nacket in burves.
All the ins here are uns. They're just in the dialect. Meaning and. And this is an in. This in means in. In Keshene nishtu kein piatak.
In Keshene nishtu kein piatak.
Very good. Zu mir gehört die ganze Welt.
Zu mir gehört die ganze Welt.
In ich der ganze Welt gehör.
In ich die ganze Welt gehör.
In ich der ganze Welt gehör.
In ich der ganze Welt gehör.
Das ist doch schon festgestellt a Fakt.
Das ist doch schon festgestellt a fact.
Let's do this again. Das ist doch schon festgestellt a Fakt.
Das ist doch schon festgestellt a fact.
Very good.
Fact.
Not fact, fact. Let's do it again. Das ist doch schon festgestellt a Fakt.
Das ist doch schon festgestellt a fact.
Very good. In Tomer wird man mir nicht glauben.
In Tomer wird man mir nicht glauben.
Und Dialekt. In Tomer wird man mir nicht glauben.
In Tomer wird man mir nicht glauben.
Tomer wird man fragen, wer.
Tomer wird man fragen, wer.
Kann ich ihm beweisen a Kontrakt?
Kann ich ihm beweisen a Kontrakt?
I think it's very funny. Zures, here we go into a little Lashon Kodesh. Zures in grisote agmes nefesh in yeshirim.
Zures in grisote agmes nefesh in yeshirim.
So, Klausprach, Hivo Yiddish would be Zores un grisote agmes nefesh un yesurim, right? All the different kind of words of trouble, sorrows, and pains. Und das seht ihr, hab ich auf den Pack.
Und das seht ihr, hab ich auf den Pack. Maybe.
This is almost the end. Hab ich gar nicht, darf ich gar nicht, will ich gar nicht verlieren.
Hab ich gar nicht, darf ich gar nicht, will ich gar nicht verlieren.
Wird man mich nicht rufen, dialect. Wird man mich nicht riefen, kein Schudak.
Wird man mich nicht riefen, kein Schudak.
Wird man mich nicht riefen, kein Schudak.
Wird man mich nicht riefen, kein Schudak. And you wrote nish, but nit, it's all the same thing.
Yeah. Key goes between all the time. No consistency. Everybody good so far? Everybody managed to say this more or less? Yeah? How are you doing?
Quiet in the chat.
They're all
We are all loving it.
they all got scared and ran away. Too many words. It's a wordy song. You need to get your your
Thanks, Sandra, there.
Pronunciation.
Pointing out there's a bit of Romanian snuck in here. Or perhaps. Well, Sudat, but I guess Chudak is that.
Oh, this is actually Slavic. This is from
we're talking about
the word chudak.
I think, or is yeah.
The word chudak actually comes from Slavic. I don't think it comes from Romanian. It comes from chuda in Russian is a miracle, and chudak is a kind of like a chuda yuda, a oddball, somebody who is like miracle in a sense of like something unexpected. So he's
right,
like this kind of like an oddball. Yeah, they might be somewhat related, but
yeah.
this is a direct Slavic which is same as Basyak, Chudak, all of those words come from.
Cool. So now that we have some of those words in our mouth, I mean, first of all, I think just with the words and without the melody, we start to get a sense of the rhythm of the songs and of Yiddish song in general. And one of the ideas I think we had here was often like you would see like I have sheet music for this and for a few of those other versions of what we heard in the materials file. And you look at the sheet music and it's all written in eighth notes and whatever, right? It says Spieltje mir morim lachs kishenever stickele. Right, but obviously
please don't do that.
that just sounds horrible.
That just hurts me.
So if we want to figure out about how to play well, I think just learning some of this stuff can really be extremely effective. And I actually really try to sometimes just play exactly what you're hearing, play the words on your instrument. And you hear these little descriptions of like a fiddle at a wedding, like, oh, he played 2 words, and you could hear him literally speaking to us.
And often if you sing in Yiddish, especially if Yiddish is not necessarily a vernacular language for you, often we tend to also even things out too much because we don't notice that, like in any language that you actually speak, like in English, for instance, you stress certain words and some are shorter, some are longer. Nothing is actually even. You never speak in even notes, right? Like if you try to write down your speech pattern. And the same in Yiddish, and a lot of Yiddish linguistic phrasing strongly influences Yiddish instrumental phrasing and timing. And I think that's a very important connection that we need to make.
Yeah, and this is a bit of a tricky workshop for us because we're trying to sort of give something to people who are players and singers of Yiddish music and also people who just appreciate it. So hopefully it's interesting for all of you. But I do think even if you don't play, this is like an important thing to kind of just to get when you listen to Yiddish music because it's so important to it. And it's one of the ways that you can really distinguish I think the deeper, more eloquent performers of it. Because it's not just about what are you saying, but it's really it's really an accent. It's how are you saying it. So that's something to appreciate. Often also you see these old sources we have talking about Jewish musicians in the 18 or 1700s, and they're like, oh, they had a horrible time, they just they couldn't keep the beat and they were playing all these weird notes and whatever, and it's sort of yeah, they didn't really get it.
All right.
Should we sing it or listen to him sing it with the words in front of us, or
No, let's start singing it together.
Cool.
Let's move on a little bit because we want to actually get out of here eventually. We've been together for a while and we're enjoying this, but we want to actually let you go at one point. We love being with you, but we are considerate of your time. So, key
D?
Let's just do it line by line. And I'm going to try and do it slowly so that you can chew the words. But read the translation and think of what are the stressed words, right? Excuse me. Spiel mir klezmorimlech, right? All this jemir is smaller, just as an example. Right?
Yeah. And if you want to, there is again the sheet music in the materials folder, so you can pull up the sheet music in front of you if that helps.
But let's do one verse a little bit by ear.
You want to do it lower?
Mm-hmm.
There, lower.
Mm-hmm. Spielje mir klezmorimlech. Okay. Spielje mir klezmorimlech. Skasha never stikale. Okay. Spielje mir klezmorimlech. Skasha never stikale. And
Spielje mir klezmorimlech. Skasha never stikale. Sorry, I'm trying to decide about the chords in this key on the mandolin right over.
Spielje mir klezmorimlech. Skasha never stikale. Aber mitten kniak. So notice how it's mitten, like on the n, and it immediately gives it that different tom, that different taste because it's a closed syllable. Aber mitten kniak, and aber mitten kniak. Hingerik en schläferik inna ket in burves. Hingerik in schläferig, in nacket, in Burwes. In Keschene nicht du kein Piatag. In Keschene nicht du kein Piatag.
And there it's Keshenev, but he just swallows the V, kind of. Is that what's happening?
No, Keschene is a pocket.
Oh, pocket. Right.
No.
That one always. I think I've just heard it so many times without fully thinking about that line.
No. It's a wordplay.
Yeah,
He's in
right.
Kitchen. It's Kishinever Stickele, but it's about his empty pockets.
Right.
Zieh mir gehört die ganze Welt, die nicht der ganzen Welt gehört.
Zu mir
Gehört die ganze Welt, die nicht der ganzen Welt gehört. Das ist doch schon festgestellt auf Fakt. Das ist doch schon festgestellt auf Fakt. Und Tomer wird man mir nicht glauben, Tomer wird man fragen, wer. In Tomer wird man mir nicht glauben, Tomer wird man fragen, wer. Kann ich ihm beweisen, na Kontrakt? Kann ich ihm beweisen, na Kontrakt? Zures in grisote Agmes nefesh in Yeshirim. Zures in grisote Agmes nefesh in Yeshirim. Otto zet ihr hab ich auf'n Pack.
Otto
Zet ich hab ich auf'n Pack. Let's do this again. Otto zet ihr hab ich auf'n Pack.
Otto zet ihr
hab ich auf'n Pack. Hab ich what? Hab ich gar nicht, sorry. Hab ich gar nicht, darf ich gar nicht, will ich gar nicht verlieren. Hab ich gar nicht, darf ich gar nicht, will ich gar nicht verlieren. Wird man mich nicht riefen, kein Schudak. Wird man mich nicht riefen, kein Schudak. All right, that's our first verse, and we're not gonna go through the second one, but you can do the same thing, and you can listen to Moshe Oisher and listen to how he stresses the words so that you can get all the words down. But this is okay? Did we get through this more or less? Yes? Yes, okay. I see signs of life. That's good.
So we had thought about splitting up into instrumentalists and singers and doing some work on playing, but I see that we're sort of running out of time, and I don't know how many instrumentalists we have there.
So, Craig,
maybe...
Sasha.
Oh yeah.
So I was going to say maybe this would be a good time to open it up to questions then directly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
So maybe we should just quickly show you the score. No, we shouldn't. You can look it up.
Right, you can check out the score.
The score, like Lori, maybe if you could put
He's put it a few times.
the thing in the chat just again, just to
Sure, one last time for everybody.
Oh no, it's close. It's very close to the end. I think like people can see it.
Yeah.
So,
Okay,
but yeah, let's do some questions and
Yeah, and I'll just say again, I know, like I see Francis there. I know we've talked about this.
You guys can go ahead and stop the screen share.
Yeah.
that's what
I think this also is just a great way if you're somebody who's thinking about variations as a singer or a musician and having maybe trouble finding what are some things you
singers are
can
musicians.
do. Sorry, instrumentalist or a singer.
Thank you.
But this, like looking at these different versions of the same song and seeing like, well, what does that person do with this phrase, and what does that person do, and then sort of you find your ones that you like, and that's just it's a great way to find variations. I think. I wanted to slip that in there for you, Francis, if you're still there. Cool. So yeah, I guess does anybody have any questions?
I see the first question here from Kenneth Perez. Or forgive me if I mispronounced your name, but what accompanying rhythm would you play on the guitar for this song?
All right. That's a good question.
Honestly, I don't think it's the greatest guitar song. So I would try and go for just like as straight and but like with a like he asks for spielt mit a knack, so with a punch, with a so I would just like go like with the most like like what key were we in?
D major.
Like oh gosh, spiel no spiel. Sorry, I'm too tired already. Spielche Mirkles weren't. Spielche Mirkles morim lach skeshe never stikale. Right. I would just go straight as much. What would you do?
Yeah, I mean, I think could well do something just like that. Usually in Yiddish music, like I try not to play too much offbeat because it's more of a downbeat kind of thing.
So that's why I was like
right.
doing that.
But in this case, I might not do that. Like if you listen to that recording, there's that snare drum that's just hitting like the offbeats in a really simple, beautiful way. So that's one approach. Could be to do a little bit more of like. I don't play minor chords.
What?
I can't play bar chords. You know that. But so just trying to give a little more pop on the upbeat like would be one approach. I've also seen people do some kind of a thing. The hard thing about playing guitar on this sort of music is that like the beat usually has like a vroom, right? Vroom, 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 dum, vroom, dum, vroom. And it's really hard to get that on a guitar. But I have seen people do something where they like pluck down, doing something like that. I can't do it because I'm not a great guitarist. But you can mess around with that. You might not do it every beat, but it can be a way to sort of bring in some of that, like, that little slide thing, or just do some slides there. But I think generally, our rhythm is. I would try not to do the fiddler on the roof thing just because we feel like that's actually a misrepresentation of Yiddish culture entirely. Meaning,
well, not entirely.
It's not entirely, but it's a very good representation of Yiddish culture in some ways. But Yiddish music, you don't ever really hear jump, chaka, dum, cha, 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 right? You hear much more jump, boom, jump, or jump, boom.
Yeah, that and that
right.
and that move on to one, I think, is a very important
but yeah.
just gesture, and it's kind of hard for me to.
I think it also really depends if you have a band with you or not. If you're playing solo, I would probably do something like what we were talking about earlier. If you hear like the banjo playing on the Art Schreier version we listened to, that's really great for the dance version of this as an instrumental tune, I think. But maybe not, So if you had a whole band going, you could do something like that, When I'm playing it on fiddle, it's just. Something like that. Yeah, I'm not sure. I would double check the chords on there with the recording. I'm pretty sure I put what I hear on the recording, but we actually usually play a little bit differently, so we're getting a bit confused here. But I hope that answers your question a little bit.
Great. There is a request from Judy Barless, if you wouldn't mind just playing through the melody on Fiddle Once.
Yeah, but you mean the instrumental versions, yeah, or you mean this version? Judy.
Let me unmute Judy.
If I may.
That's
Berlin.
sorry. One quick second to get to Judy. Asked it. Oh shoot. Judy, are you unmuted? Clearly not. How about now?
There we go. Yeah, just
Sorry about that.
especially since you talk about, learning by listening. If you, Craig, could just play the melody through once on fiddle so we can hear the plain melody as well as having the written music.
Yeah, sure.
And that could help the singers too, I think.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I think Sasha will try and play guitar. So this is like more or less like what you have on the sheet music as the Freuds from de Gruppe. I'm not sure, but I think we recorded this with Litvakis somewhere.
I think in the sheet music it's called Freuds from der Groep.
Oh, the Groep. Oh no, yeah. It's a Seattle slang.
It's a short Groep.
Yeah. Okay. So that's kind of, I guess, yeah, that's how I play this tune. I think I would say if I was playing it, that's a little bit close to the Belarusian, more Litvak thing. But if I was really doing like that, I would be a little straighter. Yeah, I'm definitely bringing in some more general Yiddishism here. I think
general Yiddishism.
I think down there it's much more. Something like that.
I feel like it doesn't need to change.
There's still even I'm still doing more corrects and in little slides and things, and I think they often do.
You need to not change the bass and just go like.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they do play chords on that recording. There's a Sakun player playing. Just.
Yeah.
It's also interesting though with that Sakun player, like they basically play A. The first D minor, it sounds like they miss it because they play like a D minor like a beat later and then sort of stop and go back. But that's what they meant to do, I think. And then in general, whenever they get to the sort of cadence, like it goes to the G minor, they don't play a G minor chord. They're always end up playing the melody there. Not because they don't know G minor or something, but it feels right at that point.
It's a bar chord.
To jump into the melody, something like that, a little more down home and dirty. And that version, I think I mentioned it there, was recorded in Bobruisk in Mogilev district in Bernia. I don't know.
That's the same.
Yeah, in Belarus. Cool. But maybe that was an answer.
Extended.
All right.
Well, I tried to put a lot of the details on that the version from Konstantin Lupu into that transcription, kind of more so than the other ones because there's a lot more little trills. So if you like that one, you can check out that chart. It's sort of just some little snippets of what he's doing on each bit, but it's like so much more. something like that. But it's like all those little half steps, all his long notes. He always does those little trills at the end, which you don't hear as much in the northern fiddle playing, and just all these slides that are gorgeous, I think. Cool. I guess it's about time.
Yeah, I think we've gotten through the questions, and I think it's reached that hour. I don't even know what time it is in Berlin.
Well, it's time for us to stop making too much noise for the neighbors.
That seems
I think
fair.
our neighbors would appreciate us not being too noisy at this hour.
Well,
I guess.
then I'm just going to take this quick moment to once again just thank you, Craig and Sasha, for just a really wonderful program. You really gave us first. You woke us up and really got us all excited with your concert, and then we really dug into some really deep and interesting stuff related to the language. And I just, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for doing this program. Thank you to the David Victor Foundation for making this possible, as well as the Mickey Katz Endowed Chair of Jewish Music at UCLA and the Lowell Milken Center for Music of American Jewish Experience. Please keep up with all of our programs. And since in this virtual age, we as musicians so infrequently get to hear real applause, I'm going to take this 1 second now, unmute everyone. Please feel free to give Craig and Sasha a real applause. So unmuting everybody. Feel free to unmute yourselves.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. That's really nice.
Wonderful, thank you.
I love that Yiddish guy.
Yeah, we don't get
Jessica.
for that enough. So thank you so much, and
Thank you very much,
Lori, for
Paris.
and everybody.
Thank you.
All right. I'm going to remute everybody now.
We should.
Oh wait, sorry, Craig. I'll unmute you.
I just wanted to mention we do run a little thing up in Seattle this time of year called Seattle Yiddish Fest, and that'll be happening in just over a month. So we'll post about it on Facebook and all that, and you'll hopefully find out about it in if you're in any of those Yiddish groups or follow us. But it's going to be really fun. We'll have all sorts of great music and some workshops and different things.
And keep
also,
your ear out for that.
Here in Berlin,
Yes.
we have our own festival here, also called Shtetl Berlin, and we've been doing a workshop series every Tuesday where we have different things for instrumentalists and singers, and we're doing a Hamantaschen making workshop on Tuesday. So
Awesome.
if you want to check all that out, Shtetl Berlin on Facebook or shtettlberlin.com. There's so much other stuff also happening. It's really incredible right now what's happening in this community.
I also definitely go see
It was
Dan
wonderful.
Kahn doing his program.
I put it off.
Yeah, Dan Kahn coming up next week. I think we'll do a wonderful performance here. He's a dear friend of ours, and yeah, thank you so much to UCLA, to Laurie and Mark and Beth and everybody for having us. It's been a real treat, and I've been so glad to catch some of the other programs here. You guys are doing
fantastic,
Thank
really
you.
great stuff. And
all right, everybody, please be safe and be well, and